On the morning of November 13th, 2022, the town of Moscow, Idaho, experienced a horrifying awakening. 4 students from the University of Idaho, Kaylee Gonsalves, Madison Mogen, Ethan Chapin, and Xana Kernodle, were found dead in their rented house near the campus. They had all been killed with a bladed weapon, shocking both the local community and the nation as a whole. Initially, the situation was unclear. The police had little information or leads. However, as time passed, details began to emerge, gradually forming a horrifying picture. According to the investigation, the murders occurred around 4 a.m. when the students were already asleep. From the very start, the investigation faced numerous challenges. There was no clear evidence at the crime scene pointing to the killer. However, certain details did help law enforcement begin their search. For example, there were no signs of forced entry into the house, indicating that the killer might have known the victims or gained access to the house in another way. The police began thoroughly interviewing neighbors and friends of the victims, analyzing surveillance footage, and examining the deceased's electronic devices for any suspicious contacts or messages. A crucial moment in the investigation was the discovery of a white Hyundai Elantra, which was caught on cameras near the crime scene. This car became a key lead for the police, as it was spotted in the area of suspicious activity on the night of the murders. Law enforcement began collecting all possible evidence, including DNA from the crime scene, witness testimonies, and analysis of digital data. Numerous forensic examinations were conducted, including blood and fingerprint analysis. These findings helped law enforcement piece together what had happened on the night of the murders. At a certain stage of the investigation, it became clear that the murders might have had a personal motive. The police started to investigate the victims' relationships with those around them, including their social networks and contacts. It was revealed that some of the victims had conflicts with other students, which could have been a potential motive for the crime. Brian Koberger was a PhD student in the Department of Criminology at Washington State University, which is located near the crime scene. He was known for his deep knowledge of criminology and social psychology. His acquaintances described him as someone who often showed interest in criminal cases and investigations. However, it later became clear that behind this facade lay a darker side. Koberger had difficulty with social adaptation, was reclusive, and often displayed strange behavioral patterns. He had a deep interest in the topic of serial killers and crime investigation methods, which might have influenced his decision to commit such heinous acts. The police began to suspect Koberger after his car was captured on cameras near the crime scene. This, along with his behavior and interest in criminology, drew the attention of law enforcement. They began to monitor him, gathering additional evidence. A decisive moment in the investigation was DNA analysis. DNA samples were found at the crime scene that did not belong to the victims. The police were able to obtain Koberger's DNA samples and compare them with those found at the crime scene. The DNA match became a crucial piece of evidence leading to his arrest. After Koberger's arrest, it became clear that he had a well-planned murder scheme. His deep knowledge of criminology allowed him to carefully prepare for the crime, avoid obvious mistakes, and leave minimal evidence. However, thanks to the persistence and professionalism of law enforcement, he was eventually exposed and brought to justice. The trial of Brian Koberger attracted significant public and media attention. He was charged with the murder of 4 students, and despite his attempts to deny guilt, all evidence pointed to his involvement in the crime. The court considered all the available evidence and testimonies, leading to his conviction and a lengthy prison sentence. This tragic story serves as a reminder of the importance of thorough and professional crime investigations. Thanks to the persistence and professionalism of law enforcement, a dangerous criminal was exposed and brought to justice, helping to restore justice for the victims and their families.